has the narrative around Matthew Stafford already been changed? For years and years and years, Matthew Stafford was the starting quarterback, 12 years in fact. Matthew Stafford was a starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions, and they didn't win a playoff game. They had a great receiver, Calvin Johnson, put up a bunch of crazy numbers, and people would often refer to Matthew Stafford as a guy who was padding his stats. He'd have these incredible years, throw for 5,000 yards, break a ton of records, and have great numbers, but never actually win or have a great season as far as wins and losses. And I think when you ask, has the narrative around Matthew Stafford changed? I would say, yeah, obviously it has. The question is how much. Because to go 12 years in Detroit and not win a playoff game, then immediately go to LA and in year one win 3 and then maybe a Super Bowl. We'll see what happens next Sunday. It's undeniable that Matthew Stafford was held back by the Lions and that he's better than the wins and losses that were produced during his time in Detroit would show. Like the whole idea that Matthew Stafford can't win a big game. Well, he proved you wrong 3 times in like 3 weeks. Bang, 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 3 playoff wins. He's in a Super Bowl now. I'm not ready to say that Matthew Stafford is the most clutch quarterback of all time. But again, that idea that he couldn't win a big game at all was ridiculous. We always knew how great and clutch Matthew Stafford was, and it's cool to finally see him with some support. Now, we don't need to say that Matthew Stafford is the best quarterback in the NFL, though. He certainly does have boneheaded moments or moments where you're like, that's a terrible throw. That's a bad interception. Go watch the Tennessee Titans game. He had back-to-back interceptions and made terrible throws, and you're like, Staff, what are you doing, bud? That's terrible. Matthew Stafford isn't perfect. But we tend to swing a pendulum way too far to one direction or way too far to the other. And one side, for years, people were saying Stafford is terrible. And now people want to say, he's the best ever. All he needed was a good team. I don't think many people are saying that, but that would be the pendulum swinging too far the other way. The answer is somewhere in the middle. Matthew Stafford is an incredible quarterback. He's really talented. He's really good. Clearly, he can win big games. Clearly, he is clutch. And I don't know. I think certainly Matthew Stafford could use the Super Bowl victory on Sunday more than the Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is just starting his career. I think a lot of people are just impressed with the fact that Joe Burrow is even in a Super Bowl at all, that he took his team there. Matthew Stafford has all the pressure on him, though. Matthew Stafford was traded to the Rams from Detroit, and the mission to win began. And the Rams are all in. They traded for Von Miller. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. They made move after move after move to pursue a Super Bowl. And when you get traded for a bunch of first-round picks and your team really heavily invests in you, the expectation is a Super Bowl. So Matthew Stafford has more to gain from winning a Super Bowl here than Joe Burrow would. And frankly, I think more to lose as well. Like, nobody expects Joe Burrow to win. I'm kind of leaning towards, actually, I think the Bengals are going to win this Super Bowl. I think this Jalen Ramsey matchup against Jamar Chase is going to be a huge deciding factor. But, yeah, I think the narrative has absolutely changed around Matthew Stafford. He's now no longer hopefully viewed as a guy who can't win or isn't good enough. He was always held back by Detroit, and we've seen that. We've definitely learned that was true. He always was held back. How good is he? Can he win a Super Bowl? Let's find out. That'll be really fun. But I'm just really glad that I never have to hear again how all Matthew Stafford does is pad stats and he can't win big games, because that was never true. And I'm really glad that hopefully, look, if anyone ever does make that argument still, go ahead. But do you really believe that? Like, can you really look in the mirror and go, I'm totally right. Stafford can't do anything. Like, okay. Say whatever you want, but I would have a hard time looking at myself in the mirror if I said that. I'd be like, come on, man. Come on. You don't believe that.